evening, everyone. I now call to order the regular meeting of the City Council meeting of Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. Tonight, we have a real treat. We have the Clover Choir singers from St. John the Baptist School right on Baker, and it's a wonderful thing to have the Irish in here for right before St. Patrick's Day. And so let's stand and listen to them beautifully sing the national anthem and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Okay. Remain standing now. Okay, now for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance now. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. They left, but one more time for the Clovers. That conductor was Miss Yvette Aitano, who taught all my kids music, and some of them are actually kind of good at music, so that's good for her. Okay, so now we have the moment of solemn expression, and we're led in the moment of solemn expression by Pastor Matthew Hambrick from Costa Mesa First United Methodist Church. Pastor Hambrick, you have the floor.
Mayor, Council, thank you for inviting me tonight. Let us pray. Loving God, you've given us so much, and we ask that you would make us always remember that generosity and constantly try to make life better for others. Bless our neighborhood with honesty in our workplaces, truth in our education, and honor in our daily lives. Save us from violence, discord, and confusion, from pride and arrogance, and from every evil course of action. When times are prosperous, let our hearts be thankful, and in troubled times, do not let our trust fail. We pray all these things. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Pastor. So we have 3 presentations tonight. I want to remind everybody that we're going to do the presentations, and then each, like the soccer teams, for example, they go back and sit. The council's going to come back once for a photo, come down once for a photo. First, we're going to take our photos with the Estancia girls soccer team. Then we're going to do Newport Harbor, and then we're going to do our photo with the women's club. But we'll come down after they're all done. Okay. So first, we have the recognition of the Estancia High School girls soccer team, CIF Southern Section Division 5 champions. Go Eagles! tonight we proudly recognize and celebrate the Estancia High School girls varsity soccer team. The Estancia High School girls varsity soccer team won the program's first CIF Southern Section Division V championship title against Campbell High School in a match with the score of 2-0. I didn't give those Campbell a goal. It was a shutout. So that there's no doubt, a shutout. Good job. Okay, sophomore Vanessa Pastrana scored twice in the second half of the game, securing the Estancia's victory. Pastrana, yeah, there you go. And she was assisted by a freshman, Paloma Vallejo. And scored in the 61st minute after burying the shot in the right corner. We're getting into a lot of detail here. This is good. She struck again in the 71st minute on another pass from Vallejo, speeding up the right sideline. She cut back inside the defender and struck the ball with her left foot into the net. At this point in the game, the Eagles had secured the championship for their first time in the program's history. The city is proud of this team's accomplishments and sportsmanship and dedication throughout the season. We congratulate you for this accomplishment and victory. And to tell us more about this exciting historic victory, I welcome up to the podium Josh Juarez, who's their coach. Coach Juarez is going to talk a little bit more about the achievement in perhaps further detail and give each of you certificates.
Okay. First of all, thank you for having us here. My girls know that I don't need a microphone. I'm a very loud person. But I just want to thank you all for having us here. For us, it has been a remarkable season. A team that I think we had some aspirations to go far. But we did have a big senior class last year. But a great group of returners and mixed in with some freshmen and some girls who moved up from our JV team to just put together a team that was truly special in our program's history. A team that just worked from day one. I feel that our program always has great individuals, kids with high character, hard workers, but it takes a little bit extra to get to a point to win a CIF title. As these boys, I'm sure, also understand. Just a lot that goes into the season, and for us, we knew that we were going to have the talent coming into a season. We knew that we were going to have a strong team. For us, it was little things that we needed to improve on. We wanted a team that was really close, a team that was going to work hard for each other, a team that was going to step on the team and just really represent our high school. And so I think our school is filled with great coaches and great staff and great students for Estancia. And these girls have really represented their program, represented their school, and represented the city, I think, with high character the entire season. I think our statement game was the quarterfinals against Grand Terrace. Quarterfinals against Grand Terrace. We were down a goal late in the game. We found a goal to send us into overtime, and with 5 minutes left in double overtime, we scored the sudden death goal to send us to the semifinal. And I think from there, the team knew that we had a good shot of winning the whole thing. So for me, I just want to highlight the girls for all the work they've done this season, and just to let them know that myself and the city and your school are all very proud of you.
Yes, great.
All right, and we have some certificates for our ladies, so thank you very much. I'm going to call them up one by one, and then you want us lining up?
Yeah, you could just line up, but then and then you're going to take your seat, and then we'll take a picture at the end.
Got it. All right, Anna Pacheco. Tatum.
Yeah.
Charlie. Kim. Jana. Kate. Kim. Sorry. Heidi. Crystal. Sarah. Ava. Evelyn. Arleth. Stephanie. Macy. Dev. Brianna. Valeria. Abby. Aisleen. Paloma.
Yeah.
Vanessa. Abby. I got it right. And Sophie.
Okay, now before you girls sit down, I want to let you know that girls soccer is really important to the council. Councilmember Harper's daughter played at the University of Michigan, and Mayor Pro Tem Harlan's daughter is playing right now at Newport Harbor. And we have on the dais Arliss Reynolds, who wants to speak to you. She played at Estancia, and I'll let her decide whether she wants to tell you when she did that. But Arliss, you have the floor.
Promise, don't do the math. Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I wanted to just take a couple extra moments to say thank you to the girls' soccer team. I wore my Estancia red for you tonight because it was so fun. As an alum of Estancia and an alum of the women's soccer team at Estancia from 2000, graduated in 2002, I had so much fun watching you guys. I follow you on Instagram, and it was so neat to just see how you all supported each other, how other alums were sending you videos, supporting you throughout the CIF tournament, really how you galvanized the community as you ran through the playoffs and really made every Estancia alum proud. I was lucky enough to go to Estancia when the boys won the first state CIF championship, and we still talk about them today. So you can do the math. 24 years later from that championship, we're still talking about them. So you better believe that 24 years from now, we're going to be talking about you. So thanks for your work ethic. Thanks for being an incredible team. And thanks for bringing home this trophy.
Okay, so please go back and take your seat, and then we'll take a picture when we're done with the other two presentations. Okay. So now we have the Newport Harbor Boys Soccer Team CIF Southern Section Division II champions. And boys, before I get into the remarks, by showing of hands, how many Costa Mesa residents do we have on this team? Look at that. A lot of Costa Mesa residents. And the Newport residents, you're welcome to be here too. I mean, I'm not. You're in no way second class to those Costa Mesa residents. Okay, tonight we also take great pride in congratulating the triumphant victory of the Newport Harbor High School boys soccer team over the dreaded Foothill High School in CIF Southern Section Division II championship game. Newport Harbor's boys soccer team started fast and appeared to be on its way to an easy victory in the CIF Section Division II final against Foothill on Saturday at El Modena High School. Newport Harbor led 4-0 through the first 55 minutes. Then Foothill scored 3 consecutive goals. But the Newport Harbor Sailors hung on for the 4-3 victory, capturing the team's first Southern Section title in 23 years. See, all you needed was those Costa Mesa residents to bring home. The city is proud of this team's outstanding sportsmanship and the dedication throughout the season and congratulates you for this victory. To tell us more about this exciting achievement, we have assistant coach Alex Enriquez. Coach Enriquez, you have the floor.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys bringing up the score. I think it is important for them to sit with it and understand what you guys did. Kind of going over a little bit of this year, what we kind of expected. Graduating 13 seniors last year and being really, really close to what these guys achieved this year, getting to the semifinals, getting knocked out to Los Alamitos, it stings a little bit, right? We come back to the next year, and I think, as the opposing coach can attest to this, I think we all come here wanting to succeed. We don't really know how far we're going to go, but once you see that ball start to roll and you see, wow, we actually have a good shot, it's really exciting. So I think for us, having to start 2 games away and having to go to Palm Desert, being victorious there 4-1, and then having to go to, I'm so sorry for that school in Los Angeles, but I forget it, but it's somewhere in Los Angeles, winning in an overtime victory 1-0, I think it started to get that ball rolling, in which I was explaining, and being able to come home twice, get another victory in the semifinals, and then go into the finals and closer to home so we can have our attendance there, I think was huge for the boys. So, like you said, at the end of the day, they got the job done. We would love to be 4-0, but hey, these guys are a group of guys that like to make it. Yeah. So, but again, I think they did what they needed to do. They did it the correct way, waking up at 6 a.m. for lifting and running a Cooper to make the varsity team alone. I think it's very, very important, and it shows their character. So, round of applause for the boys.
So here comes your certificates.
Thank you. Awesome. Thanks. All righty. We'll start with Gio. Next is Pierce. Then we have Jack. And forgive me. Oh my goodness. Hayden. You guys will see right now what I mean. Hayden. Oh, sorry, Landon. Tomas. Another one. Luke. And we got Jack. Jared. Brandon. Rocco. Ozzy. Jake. I don't know the last time I called you Jake. Beck. Harry. Jack. A lot of Jacks. Our captain for this year, James. Eduardo. And last but not least, Olivier.
All right, thanks, Coach. So if you guys could take a seat, you boys could take a seat. Oh, you want to say? Oh, Jeff wants. Stay right. You haven't escaped yet. We're going to hear from Mayor Pro Tem Harlan.
All right, thank you. First of all, congratulations, boys. I've known some of you since you were little tots on the AYSO field, and it's really great to see you here tonight. I appreciate the dramatic explanation of the final game. I had a little bit of a different experience. I was rapid texting with my daughter, Evie, who said after halftime, 4-0, we're dominating. Then it was 4-1, 4-2. Oh crap, 4-3. 9 minutes left. And I know that last 9 minutes was really nerve-wracking, but you guys prevailed. You showed a lot of heart and character, and I think most importantly, a lot of joy playing. I saw a lot of the videos, and it was just really fantastic. So congratulations. But I think even more importantly than your achievement, I always like to talk to the parents and the families that support you, because without them, you owe a debt of gratitude. I know I've been a soccer dad for nearly 15 years. It's never ending, the sacrifices that your parents make. I know that you all shower your family with gratitude and appreciation every day. That's just what teenagers do. And some of the parents make even greater sacrifices. One is actually celebrating her birthday tonight with you. We're not gonna sing, Tiffany, don't worry. But seriously, the families do bring a lot. I mean, we're there to cheer, we're there to support you, and it gives us great joy to see you play with such enthusiasm, regardless of what the achievement is. But tonight we do want to celebrate your championship, so congratulations.
Okay, we'll take a photo pretty soon. Happy birthday, Tiffany. I had no idea. And boys, don't let anybody give you a hard time. A win's a win. All right, that's all I could say. You bring home the hardware. It's good to have shutouts, but those close victories are really good too. All right, so now the next presentation is for the Women's History Month. And so I'm going to read some remarks, and then we're going to call up Dee Dee Wilson from the Costa Mesa Women's Club. So tonight we are proclaiming March as Women's History Month. Women's History Month is a time to recognize and pay tribute to the remarkable contributions and achievements women have made throughout history. This month is not just a celebration, it's a reflection on the pivotal roles women have played in shaping our society, often against great odds. This year's theme, Women Who Advocate for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, resonates deeply with the spirit of our community. It reminds us that progress and positive change comes from embracing the diversity of voices and perspectives that make us stronger. As we look back in history, we see that women from every background have seen the forefront of social change, advocating for justice, equality, and the well-being of all. Today, we celebrate their achievements and acknowledge the ongoing efforts of women in our community who continue to push boundaries and inspire positive change. In Costa Mesa, we have a beacon of inspiration with our very own Costa Mesa Women's Club. This, you say it, gay. Yeah, babe. This remarkable organization has been instrumental in our community advocating for the education, social welfare, and cultural enrichment for over 110 years. Now, okay, so this isn't in my script, but the other thing we have is two great council members up on the dais, council members Marr and Reynolds, who I would say for sure exemplify women who have advocated for equity, diversity, and inclusion in our community. And not to mention, we also have our women's city manager and city attorney up on the dais. So let's give it up for them. So the Costa Mesa Women's Club, I'm getting back to the Women's Club now. The Costa Mesa Women's Club exemplifies the spirit of Women's History Month, making lasting contributions that resonate with the values we celebrate every day. So joining us, as I said, is the Costa Mesa Women's Club President, Dee Dee Wilson. And Dee Dee, while you're coming up to the podium to say a few words, I'm going to read from the proclamation. Women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our nation's countless recorded and unrecorded ways. American women have been leaders not only in securing their voting rights and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and all other movements, especially the peace movement. All right, gay, which created a more fair and just society for all. The city of Costa Mesa pays tribute to the enduring contributions of historical and contemporary local women who have demonstrated leadership in emphasizing the significance of change and instituting safeguards and practices that reflect these fundamental values. Now, therefore, I, John B. Stevens, the mayor of the great city of Costa Mesa, do hereby proclaim March 2024 as National Women's History Month and call upon all Costa Mesa residents to observe this month and celebrate women who work for basic inclusion, equity, and fairness in our community. President Dee Dee Wilson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members, for this great honor. And I do recognize a few faces as fellow members of our Women's Club. We've been around, as you said, since 1910. We have a clubhouse here in Costa Mesa that we've been in since 1950 that we own. And we come from various backgrounds and various generations. We provide scholarships and we collect supplies and food for different organizations here in Costa Mesa, such as the Lighthouse, Charlie House, the OCC Food Pantry, and we recently took on a challenge with the Back Bay High School here in Costa Mesa as well. So pretty much everything I had written down here was what you've already covered, so thank you. And I do have to say that this is quite exciting to be here tonight with the two CIF champions. And next year, we want to bring a little bit more of our game because we're a little bit not as exciting. So I say we challenge Fountain Valley Women's Club to something next year, and then we can come back.
May I suggest pickleball? Pickleball.
That's actually a great idea.
No. Okay, so the council's going to come down. First, we'll take a picture with the Eagles CIF championship, then the Sailors, and then the women.
Soccer mom.
Start squeezing in there.
Thanks for letting me know. All right, let's go back on the record. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. Sorry we kept you a little later than anticipated.
I'm thinking that's so this will be lovely. That should be fun.
Okay. All right. All right.
No, we don't.
So we're back on the record, and I skip roll call, but let the record reflect that all council are here and present. City Attorney, did you have a report? Closed session report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There was no reportable action taken in closed session. Direction was given as staff to resolve some matters that will be coming back for final approval.
Thank you. So public comment is the next item, and everybody gets 3 minutes for public comment. It's for things that are either on the consent calendar or not on the agenda. And of course, that's there's nothing on the agenda tonight, so it's pretty much wide open. You could talk about anything you want. So you get 3 minutes. We go first to the people that are in the chambers, then we go to Zoom. If you're in the chambers, you're making a comment, and you're going to hear a beep at 2 minutes. Please try to conclude your remarks then before you get to 3 minutes. At 3 minutes, the mic is cut off, and same thing applies on Zoom. So with that, Flo Martin, happy Women's History Month, and you have the floor.
And boy, do I have a history in this city. 57 years coming up this June. Anyway, about 50 years ago, my 2 sons and their dad were members of the Indian Guides. And from them, I learned an expression, heap good, heap good. I would like to bestow and thank Raja Sathuraman and Jennifer Rosales and Brett Atencio Thomas for the work they've done to make our streets safer for everyone. Raja and Jennifer and Bat deserve a big heap good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes?
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi. My name is Erin McCall. Thank you guys for all your time. I'm going to use notes. I know right now politically using notes says that you're old, but I'm going to just try anyway. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about February 16th. Dolores Pelego, she's 61 years old, was killed in a fatal car accident. She was a pedestrian, and she was killed in a fatal car accident on Adams and Pine Creek Avenue. I want to acknowledge that this council has done a lot to address infrastructure, to address biking and walkability, but I'm also asking that we try to stretch and do more, and that we try and stretch to address the fact that folks are dying in Orange County, and we're saying, oh, we want you to walk more, we want you to bike more, and we want you to use our streets and be out, and they're dying because of it. I also want to acknowledge that it's very hard to find data. So I went and looked around, and I went on the OC register, and I found that in 2019 to 2021, 375 pedestrians were killed in Orange County. And I actually went to a law firm website that had Costa Mesa specific data that said between 2014 and 2018, 162 pedestrians were hit by cars, including 9 fatalities. The thing is that when we're addressing this, there are 3 things that I think that we need. Number 1 is that we need accountability and having updated data provided by the city to the residents so that we know what is happening on our streets and where are some of the high risk areas. The other thing that we need is we need a commitment from this council and city managers to prioritize the children, the mothers, our seniors, and all the other pedestrians over the loss of speed through our roads. Like, we need to prioritize the fact that people are going to be walking on these roads more so than like it might take them longer to get to their other destination if they're driving. The other thing that I want is that we need a commitment to urgently address these high impact areas with the understanding that there are hoops with the county, with the state, and maybe even the Department of Transportation. So what I mean by this is that I know that there are problems with making slow streets in certain areas. Like, I live on Wilson Street, and I know that there are lots of struggles. But that's why we elected you. We need you guys to be the advocates. You have the phone number of the county officials. You have the phone number of our state and federal electeds. We need you to go to bat for us and change the rules so that our kids can walk the streets safely. I saw this article this past weekend, and this woman is the same age as my mom. And my mom is a recovering nurse she has long COVID and she's recovering. And so she goes on walks every day and she's trying to be healthy and safe. But while I'm at work, it stresses me out because she's walking Fairview. And I don't want to hear about her death on the 7 o'clock news. And we don't.
Thank you, Aaron. Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Ida Wolf, and I've been here before. I'm with the Senior Center, and we still don't have an ice machine. We have a little thing that throws out ice on the counter in the sunroom, but it's only like an ice tray full, and it's gone. So we don't have a big ice machine in our kitchen. And when we have special events, we have to go to Smart and Final and get a bag of ice. So, I was in another I've been in a lot of senior centers because I play bridge. But I was having a problem getting a microwave with that city. And so what I did was I took up a donation one day and got enough money right there in the senior center to buy a microwave. And I took it to the office. Well, they panicked. And we had the names of everybody that gave the money. So they gave all the money back, and we had one that next day. We had a microwave. So if I have to take a collection to get an ice machine in our senior center, I'm capable of doing that. And, I want to live to be 140, and I need an ice machine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hello, Frank Spitzer, 17-year resident of Costa Mesa. I need some help if I can get it. We have a house on 250 Joanne Street in Costa Mesa that's a child recovery house of some sort. It's been getting a little bit out of control lately, more than normal. We did a little bit of studying, and in the last 10 years, the police have been called out there over 300 times. I'm sure these gentlemen have better things to do than to go there you can look at the report and see all the reasons why it's from minor stuff to major stuff. There's a lot of folks on the street that have young kids, and I have grandkids that, we want to run around the neighborhood and let them be kids. It's just not getting safe with these kids that are living there, that are coming and going with the stuff that's going on there. And you can ask any one of the Costa Mesa Police Department guys, they've all been there. So what we're looking for, or we're hoping, we have all the neighbors have signed the thing already. We're looking to see if the city attorney can do some sort of investigation on this in house and see if if they're living up to all the expectations, if they're following all the laws, the rules. We did a little bit more homework on the property that the business that runs it seems a little shady, and it's switched names twice that we know of in the last year. So it seems that we're thinking that maybe they're getting a different group of kids than what they've had before that seem to be a little bit worse. So yeah, we're looking for some help before something bad happens. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you very much. So, yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Patty Bonilla. I've been a resident of Costa Mesa since the age of 7. I'm here to speak about the current issue with street vendors and food trucks in our community. The restaurant I work for has been in business since 1979 here in Costa Mesa. We have to follow rules, pay taxes, pay rent, insurance, and employees. We must also meet all city and county health inspections and protocols to get proper licenses and permits to stay in business. Everything we sell in our business must be properly labeled and weighed in order to be sold. Our water in all of our refrigerators, freezers, food warmers, and food heaters must be at proper temperatures. Otherwise, we might be fined or face a possible closure until they're all correct in temperature, or not to mention the food must be thrown out if it's not the right temperature. That said, most street vendors don't follow rules. They're not inspected for proper food handling or proper food holding, food storage, or for cooking their food at the proper temperature. They do not have proper operation permits, they do not pay rent, nor do they pay city or county state taxes. They are not from Costa Mesa. They are here from LA, Santa Ana, and other cities. The vendors mentioned this to the customers, and they are proud of it. They set up for business during our local business hours. They are blocking city sidewalks, which does not allow proper access to handicapped residents to use, and they handle cash money, and they continue preparing food without washing their hands. We also don't know what type of establishment these food vendors are preparing their food in prior to transporting it to Costa Mesa, or how long it sits in their vehicles prior to setting up their booths before they start selling the food to the public. We must also keep in mind the safe food handling danger zone for hot and cold food. Bacteria thrives in temperatures between 40 and 140 degrees and can double every 20 minutes in that danger zone. Based on the growth, scientists have pinpointed 2 hours to be the maximum amount of time consumers can safely leave perishable foods at room temperature. I feel the city of Costa Mesa should be concerned about the possibility of the residents in our community getting salmonella, E. coli, or other airborne viruses, including COVID, which is still currently active in Orange County. I fear there should be more active field inspections, not just during the week, but also on the weekends, because that is when most of the vendors set up earlier during the day. This is not about competition between street vendors or local restaurants. This is about the principle of the matter. It's about doing things the right way across the board for all vendors, including all the local businesses in Costa Mesa, without double standards. It's about keeping our community safe and healthy. I believe in you as our council members, and
Thank you. Yes, sir.
thank you for your time.
Mr. Mayor, could you hold my time? I think the staff has a presentation.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you for serving. I genuinely appreciate it. Yesterday, I sent a letter from the cannabis industry members to address the badge policy. It was joined by almost all the members of Measure Q operators, as well as the Measure X supply chain operators. Santa Ana has removed the badge fee, city badges, and background checks for employees that has significantly improved the cannabis staffing process. Costa Mesa charges a whopping $631. Takes too long. The background checks are inconsistent. And the city-issued badge is not even state compliant. So the city tells operators to make their own separate and secondary badge. Will you help? No one has responded since we've been sending it multiple times in the, thanks buddy. Since April, we've sent it multiple times to the city and nobody's even had the courtesy to respond. So on Thursday, I'll be at the Arts Committee asking them why they haven't seen a city staff report about the cannabis tax, they get a 0.5%, and at $50 million, which is a $3.5 million city tax estimate, that's $250,000 to the arts, and they haven't even seen it presented. Same thing for home buyers. Right now, today, we could be having first-time home buyers enjoy the benefits of the cannabis tax. So selective enforcement, what is it? It's basically an enforcement against one but not another. We're told that code enforcement is reactive, yet we'll send reports demonstrating this isn't the case. Cannabis sees enforcement. Often on the same day it is reported, we have code enforcement sitting in the parking lot observing, yet not issuing a citation. We can't understand it because code enforcement has to drive by so many of the same similar issues. So what do? We looked at the dais who's telling residents and everybody to use 311, right? It's in all the city's marketing materials. So on one day, we went and reported 36 same and similar sign violations. They report 627 and 633. After 2 weeks, we didn't see anything happen. So we put in 4 more under a different case. We put it in online. So those reports there. So we haven't seen any action. And these are the examples of what we reported. You see it all over the city, except they're enforcing on cannabis uniquely. This is just a demonstration that we reported it. There's no responses. They had to leave City Hall in order to get to Newport Beach, in order to get to Harbor Boulevard, and drive by each and every one of these things. This is textbook selective enforcement. So please modify the badge process, demonstrate to the industry that you're listening and you really want to do something that's positive that the entire industry supports. As for the other considered rules and regs, what problem are you trying to solve? The chief of police has sat here and said there are no calls for service. I've done a public request on code enforcement, and it's little itty bitty things. I would tell you what the taxes are here, but the city has refused my public records request to share the cannabis tax. I'm going to keep going for it. It's important. You should know what it is. There's so many positive things that be going here. Can you work with the industry? Can we have a dialogue? Can we really work on some of the positive aspects here? Thanks again for serving. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Edward Coleman. I'm with Exact Technology Solutions. The reason I'm here today is because we put in a bid for some cabling for the city, and we were the lowest bidder. However, the city decided to go with a different vendor because of a scoring matrix, and we felt that the scoring matrix was wrong, and so we protested it to the city purchasing department, and they said that we had to come to the city council to plead our case. So basically,
Mayor,
hold on one
this is an
second.
agenda item.
Oh, no, it's a consent. Okay, hold on one second.
It's not on the.
Just stop. Hold on one second. I got it under. You raised it. I know what you're talking about. It has it been pulled? Okay.
Yes, I thought Mr. Coleman wanted it.
Okay, you wanted it pulled. So why don't you do this? Why don't you hold your comments since it's been pulled from the consent calendar? We'll take public comments then.
Okay.
And then it'll be, we'll have that focused on right before we vote on it. Okay? Yeah. So it's okay, and we'll give you three more minutes because you had no way of knowing that. Okay?
Perfect.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you. No, so there's nobody else in the chambers. On Zoom, do we have anybody to speak to us?
Yes, Priscilla, please.
Priscilla, you have the floor.
Hello.
Hi, Priscilla. We can hear you.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry for the delay. All right. At the last council meeting, Councilwoman Marr felt compelled to warn the public that the regulars who speak at these meetings make up less than 0.1% of the public, and their comments are no more important than that of the people she needs to target. Her counterintuitive logic implies that the opinions of regulars should be given less weight as our participation is habitual, assuming we've nothing better to do. Ironically, as a candidate, she praised these same regulars for the months we canvassed to put her on the dais. Is it any wonder we're invested in what she does from that dais? Point of fact, regulars may be small in number, but are definitely not like the people you meet and target. We're former council members and residents who've served on many city committees, the ones you're constantly trying to fill. We put Measure Y and AA on the ballot, made law by 70% of the voters. Some are experts in Fairview Park. Most have decades of institutional knowledge, especially in city planning and development. And we ousted the last administration for insulting and ignoring residents. As such, we actually represent the majority of Costa Mesa. These residents count on us to untangle city issues, attend numerous workshops they can't, and speak for them at these meetings. We would gladly stay home, but you don't keep your promises and you just don't listen. You overturn Measure Y, but the little affordable housing that will be built won't be inclusive. It'll be segregated to red line districts. You made a big show of Native American Month, but you defied laws, executive orders, and invite vandals to destroy their ancestral artifacts and lands in Fairview Park. In June 2022, I sent multiple studies, reports, articles, and information warning you and the Planning Commission what would happen if you let 60 cannabis shops into our small town with no plan in place. Now it's lawsuits, frightened families, and plummeting home prices. Now, as to Fairview Developmental Center, instead of rolling your eyes every time we speak and making imperious pronouncements undermining our credibility, why not save the taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars on clueless consultants? Use the regulars' institutional knowledge and city planning expertise for an advisory council. We may be forceful, passionate, even angry at times, but unlike your advisors, donors, and consultants, our only goal is making our hometown better for all residents, not just the rich. Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. Anybody else on Zoom?
Cynthia, please.
Cynthia, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Cynthia McDonald, Costa Mesa, and one of those citizens that Righeimer used to call the usual suspects. Today's a great day in democracy. Today is election day. Unfortunately, turnout in California is low. I'm always curious why people don't want to participate in the political process. I think much of it is due to the elitism that citizens must endure. The Fairview Developmental Center specific plan outreach is a good example. What the city is attempting to achieve in its outreach is engineered consensus. If you don't allow the public to participate in the actual decision-making process, if you keep the actual power in the hands of a specialized class, for example, the city council, you disenfranchise and you marginalize the public. You think that you are the only ones who can make the right decisions because the public is going to make mistakes. You don't allow citizens to inform themselves, organize, and act in a way that really controls decision-making. When you demote us to just being consumers of the political system, that reduces the public to apathy and obedience. For a while, anyway. What I'm hearing from the public is a lot of discontent with the process. The comment I get most often is that the fix is on. That's a clear indicator that the city's efforts are failing. What is coming out of the outreach so far is manufactured consent. At last Thursday's open house, we went through the charrette and sticker exercise, a tried and true method of infantilizing the public. My comment at almost every station was none of the options was acceptable. That is because the options were selected by the consultant, not the public. Like the meeting where no opportunity was given to discuss and improve the pitiful draft vision statement, no conversation and exchange of ideas was possible between members of the public that could be entered into the record by staff. So what do? Citizens advisory committees promote democratic values, enhance public trust, and improve the quality of decisions. Most importantly, they provide a platform for community members to actively participate in the decision-making process. It isn't too late to form an advisory committee for this important project. Please start taking the steps to do that now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else on Zoom?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right, let's close public comment. Let's go to council member committee reports, comments, and suggestions. First up from District 3, Councilmember Andrea Marr.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So on Sunday, I had the privilege of attending the Majestic Cycling Criterium that was put on. This is a cycling race where they do a mile loop, but for like 65 minutes or something. Anyway, it was fantastic. It was an all-day long event. It's the first time they've had it here since the 2000s. They did it in the early 90s as well. But huge success. Professional cyclists from all over the states came out, men and women. Huge turnouts. I saw a lot of residents that I recognized there. And it's just a testament to all of the work that we're doing on biking and walking. It's a testament to Raja and your team for having streets that are potholeless and that's not a word, absent of potholes and smooth enough for cycling to happen. These guys were going so freaking fast around the corners. It was amazing and super fun to watch. They're going to do another race in July. One of the other compliments that the organizers shared was that city staff had just been a joy to work with through the permitting process. We made it really easy for them. We had several traffic cops present that were able to control traffic, and it was a perfect location to have it on the north part of town where there wasn't a whole heck of a lot of traffic on a Sunday. So wonderful event, super excited to support it in the future, and just very cool to watch. So thank you to city staff for making that happen and for having streets good enough to have cycling races on. Can we please get the woman an ice machine? And then I had one other comment. For the gentleman on Joanne Street, I would like to look into that. I know that we had a youth home north of the 405 that I happened to visit when I was on a police ride-along, and it was one of those things where we sort of treated every incident as isolated, but hadn't necessarily stepped back and looked at the cumulative impact of all of the calls for service that we had received. So I'm wondering if the same thing is happening in Joanne, in which case, city manager, that's something we could elevate to the county, because I believe they're involved in the licensing and administration of most of those facilities. Mr. McCall, thank you for your comments. I completely agree with the way that you phrased that. I know that Councilmember Reynolds has looked into some of the data before. I can catch up with her later and try to find out what we have and what we need to collect, but that would be very impactful to be able to measure that over time as well and know that we're making a difference, because it feels like we are, but it's so anecdotal and obviously informed by owner experiences. So I'd like to have the hard data handy too. That's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Next up from District 5, Councilmember Arliss Reynolds.
Thanks. It took me a moment to figure out who Mr. McCall was. Okay. Yeah, that cycling event sounded fantastic. I was really bummed I couldn't be there, so thanks for that visual, and I'm excited to hear that there's an event coming back in July. I just want to give a quick thank you to the 5th grade students at Wilson Elementary School. I read Dragons Love Tacos to 2 classes this morning of 5th graders, and it was just a great time. I know our firefighters were there as well. I had a brief moment of panic when I saw the truck outside the school before I realized why they were there. They were there to read. So thank you to the 5th graders. You had fantastic questions. The reason I couldn't be at the race this weekend is I was in Nashville with America Walks, a nonprofit organization focused on walkability. A passion of mine, of course, and this was our annual board retreat to talk about strategies for improving walkability, improving safety in our cities, because there is so much evidence that every person walking and biking and moving in a wheelchair or on a cane and using buses is vulnerable, and the data is bad. The data is showing that it's getting worse across the U.S. Pedestrian deaths in this country have doubled in the last 10 years. We're going the wrong direction, and almost every other country is going the right direction. So that was a 2-day brainstorm on solutions to make streets safer, but also a really fantastic brainstorm about all the data that shows the benefits of walkability beyond safety. Health benefits, climate benefits, resilience benefits, economic benefits. It was a really energizing, inspiring weekend. I also got to meet the mayor, vice mayor, and several council members of the city of Nashville who are doing some really amazing things with sidewalk ordinances and rules about walkability to transit stations. So I was excited. When I got to the airport for my ride home from Nashville, I did open my city phone and saw some texts about 2 pedestrian deaths on Sunday in our city, and it was deflating. I tried to get some more information about one of the deaths that happened on Newport Boulevard, and let me just tell you, if you Google pedestrian fatality on Newport Boulevard, you see story after story after story after story of people getting killed on that street, and it's something that we have brought up to Caltrans. I'm going to push harder on that fight. I know Caltrans has a new district director now. We've got to get that stretch of Newport Boulevard under control. Our council has really done a fantastic job prioritizing this issue, and I thank staff for working really hard on this issue. But I'm reminded that I think it was chair of our active transportation committee, Ralph Taboda, brought us the numbers to show that even to implement our active transportation plan will take 15 years at the rate that we're going. So really want to explore ways that we can implement lower cost solutions, the proven solutions that we know improve safety for people walking on our streets, people's mothers, people's grandmothers, the Wilson Elementary students. We've got to find ways to make some adjustments more quickly to prevent the next pedestrian death in Costa Mesa. I don't want to leave on that down note, but I also don't want to take more time. Oh, I'll end with an inspiring note. There's also been a news story going around about what solutions do work. The city of Hoboken, and I'll share this, I'll send this link to council. The city of Hoboken did set a specific goal to end pedestrian fatalities in their city, and they're at 8 years through road design improvements. They're at 8 years with 0 pedestrian deaths in their city. So an inspiring story about solutions that work. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Councilmember. From District 4, Councilmember Manuel Chavez.
Thank you, Mayor Stevens. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on Election Day. Shout out to the 4 students from Mesa. Happy you're here for your class. Quick reminder, today's Election Day. If you have not voted yet, you have 1 hour from now until 8 p.m. to vote. It's our sacred duty as democracy to exercise that right and elect leaders we want to see represent us. So all the folks who have concerns, that have issues they care about, don't forget that your right to vote is how you exercise that change, or one part how you exercise that change. So please use it every chance you get, including today. Real quickly, a few comments from public comment, and then 3 items for staff. 1, yes, I do agree we need to continue expediting more active transportation measures to keep our residents safe. I've always said that a lot of folks in my district, District 4, they walk and bike to school, walk back to work, walk and bike to get around. It's important to keep residents safe. I'm always keeping that in mind when I'm looking at the seniors that live on Senior Tower in my district. How we're making sure that they're safe as they're getting home. So anything we do to make sure that's expedited and prioritized, we should. Secondly, I do agree on the ice machine. Let's see if we can get that done for the residents of the senior center. Additionally, I do know Mr. Fitzpatrick has mentioned before the permitting fee for the cannabis employees. I know we're going to be looking at our cannabis ordinance shortly. Maybe we can include a bit of that analysis in there, or at least actually address the issue to see that fee is a bit high for those folks. Now for staff. Real quickly, I feel like I mention this every single week, but the street vendor situation is something that is constantly being brought up to me by residents in my neighborhood. I know we're doing an enforcement model, and I know we're following enforcement through education, but I do have some concerns that they may not have permits to even be operating in Costa Mesa. I was very proud to pass an ordinance with this council to allow street vendors, but there are some rules they need to follow. So just getting a county health permit and getting a license through the city of Costa Mesa. So maybe we should be a bit more proactive with that. My other concern as well, back on walkability, a lot of these pop-ups do block the right of way. And I'm really concerned for the one particularly close to the Senior Tower, because on the corner of 19th Street and Pomona, I'm not even sure a wheelchair can get through, let alone someone that's walking with like a roller. So anything we can do on that front, we greatly appreciate it from our residents. Second, I've been looking at the Orange County Power Authority recently because there's been a few reports that they're actually having a lower rate for energy. I know when it first came around, there was a lot of trepidation about joining it. I had some as well. Wasn't really comfortable with folks leading the organization and the structure in play. But one thing I will say is if they are getting lower rates than we have in Costa Mesa, it's only in our best interest for our residents to save money that we look into that. So I'm not asking that we move forward with that organization, but perhaps we can look at that, start studying it in the future. If we find that they're consistently getting lower rates than we get in Costa Mesa, perhaps it's worth joining that organization. And finally, to CMPD, I do want to say it seems to have been a week with a lot of things happening. And what I just want to say for my community is thank you so much for, in all these instances, getting quick turnaround and addressing the situation at hand. Obviously, we know we cannot stop everything that happens in Costa Mesa, but what we can control is how we respond to it and how quickly we respond to it. So on behalf of Costa Mesa, we want to thank you for your hard work. If you need anything from the council, do not hesitate to ask. Public safety is the city's #1 priority. And furthermore, for my councils to consider, perhaps we should look into funding more youth organizations in Costa Mesa. I do think when teenagers have activities that keep them engaged, they get involved in less not so great activity. So perhaps that's something we should look at in our new budget cycle as well. But with that, thank you everyone for joining us and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Councilmember. Next up from District 2, Councilmember Lauren Gameros.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm going to touch on a couple of things that have already been touched on, but I kind of want to go over them again because I keep seeing the same poor woman come and beg for an ice machine. Who's in charge of buying an ice machine? Someone raise their hand, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilmember Gamero Lawrence. That would be the Parks and Community Services Department, which I've been informed by that department that the purchase is being made. There is ice available. There is an ice machine that is available to the participants there.
Okay, she said that a tray's worth comes out, and I'm not sure. I'm not going to go there and pull the lever and see if I can fill my big gulp up, but I just want to make sure that we take care of her, and I'm not trying to point anyone out, but, you know, whatever we can do would be appreciated. If I'm not asking for the nice little crunchy ones that you can chew on, but ice, I think, would be a big help for them. So
Understood.
Thank you.
We'll take care of it.
Thank you so much. The other thing, mobile food vendors, yes. I do see quite a few of the street vendors out. Specifically, I've been called by the county supervisor inquiring what's going on with these. I see them everywhere. They're out on the sidewalk. It's at night on a Friday or a Saturday. There's lights. There's a generator running. I personally am not going to go out there and provide enforcement, and I know that our police department is on it. So I just want to say, yes, as a council, myself, we are very aware of what's taking place. I know that the police department has an enforcement plan that they are definitely instituting, and I'm sure we will have this wrapped up shortly. So thanks for the inquiry on that. I have a couple of other things. A constituent came up and they were talking about selective enforcement. One of the things that was brought up was a badge fee. So when we work on our ordinance, one of the things I'd like to ask that we can look at is what's going on with the badge fee? Do we have an excessive badge fee? Can we remove the badge fee for the cannabis ordinance? Do we have sign violations that are taking place when 311 is called and nothing is happening? And I guess the last thing on that would be there was an inquiry for public records for taxes, but the constituent was told that they're not available for them, or they're not going to do that. So I'm not quite sure where we're at with that. I'm hearing this on the dais, and I would just like to maybe if we had a response or something that could come up where we address those things. I don't know who handles that, but I'd like to see something on that. And then finally, another constituent called in regarding the Fairview development. I went to the FDC last night. There was an open house workshop at the Iglesia Harbor Church, the FDC specific plan outreach, where the public was allowed to participate in many things. And let me spell some of them out, because there was an allegation that council is trying to control what happens with the FDC plan, and it simply isn't true. The general public, the constituents of the city, are allowed to to participate in the vision, the housing types, sign design and open space, mobility, traffic, and parking. And then they have another one called other. And if they want to use that spot, they can tell us exactly what they want to see. There were well over 200 people when I went. The place was packed. There was standing room only. The police department was there. The fire department was there. All the directors for all departments were there. We had community outreach there. We had our community service representative there, Brock. We had our constituent services team there. They were doing outreach as well. For the statement to be made that the council is up here trying to control the FTC is completely crazy. We are working with the public and staff to provide the best possible model in the future for the city of Costa Mesa and for the constituents. And if anybody ever has any questions, please feel free to call me. You can call City Hall. You can have my cell phone number. I will meet with you. I will speak with you. I'm here to represent you. I don't want there to be any type of any nonsense where the council is trying to control what happens with the FTC. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember. Next up from District 1, Councilmember Don Harper.
I'll echo, well, I'll keep it short, but ice machine, what everybody said. And then the food courts, I'm getting a lot of complaints from neighbors about food carts, not courts. Same issue. Let's enforce our ordinances, and if they don't belong there, they don't belong there. I'm surprised that Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem, our Mayor Pro Tem, have not brought this up because they're golfers. But our neighbor, and he lives here, and he's a member of Mesa Verde Country Club, Jake Knapp, won the Mexico Open. Kind of a big deal. John and Jeff, maybe you can say something. I know nothing about golf, but I know it's a big deal. He was three or four doors down from me. He lived down there, and great, humble kid. And he now gets to be in every major, the Masters, the U.S. Open. I know nothing about golf, but I know it's a big deal. So I just want to mention that, and that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
It's on my list, Councilmember.
Great.
It's on my list. With that, let's hear from Mayor Pro Tem Harlan.
Okay, I'll give you more airtime than I'll take on that. Happy Election Day. Like Councilmember Chavez said, I'm especially grateful that we live in a republic. We get to elect our representatives, so exercise that right carefully, and you've got 43 minutes left to do it. Like Councilmember Gameros, I attended the Fairview Development Center Town Hall, except it was last week at the golf course. I had the same impression. There were a number of people there. Some neighbors of mine were there who I got to spend some time with and talk about the project, as well as the host of other issues. I felt that it was actually a very good event as far as tone and input. I thought it was much more casual and informal, and that's the response I got from most people. They were very happy to be able to just have, informal conversations with staff and their neighbors. And there are plenty of opportunities, like Councilmember Gamero said, for input. Nothing has been decided. This is a collective exercise, and we value and need our community's input. I, a few months ago, expressed an interest in reviving a project, which is to provide field lights at Kaiser Elementary. I'd appreciate if we could get a report on that. Not necessarily a full presentation to council, but maybe just a memo on what the status is on that. And then lastly, yes, I'd like to give a hearty congratulations to Jake Knapp for winning the Mexico Open a few weeks ago. It was fun to watch. It really is a great thing to be able to root for somebody. In fact, on my little ESPN golf app, I have following him because he also performed incredibly well this last weekend. I think he placed third at the Cognizant Classic in Florida. And his family obviously are very proud. We're proud as a city, and I wish him much luck in the future.
All right. Thank you. I'll start talking about Jake Knapp. Thanks, Councilmember Harper and Mayor Pro Tem. So yeah, Jake Knapp won the Mexico Open, and I've known him ever since he was a little leaguer, and I know his parents, Bob and Jennifer, and of course his grandfather, who passed away last year, was mentioned quite often on the telecast of the Mexico Open. I don't think that Costa Mesa has been mentioned on national television more times in the history of Costa Mesa than on the last day of the Mexico Open. And Jake Knapp, he not only won the Mexico Open, but he's also had, as Mayor Pro Tem Harlan alluded to, he has 2 top 5 finishes, and so he now sits as 8th on the money list. He's earned this year, this is all public, I'm not getting $2.3 million. So that's pretty amazing. He's going to play in the Masters, and these are all really big deals for him, but the biggest deal is, as I told his dad on Sunday, I want him to come in when he has time to get the key to the city. So we'll look forward to that. Let's see, just going through some different things. I participated in the Love Costa Mesa cleanup day over in Mesa del Mar. It was a really good event, and I thought it was great to bring the community out. They had a couple of dumpsters, and then code enforcement, thank you to code enforcement for helping with that, and also the Public Works Department and Love Costa Mesa. It's called Labors of Love, and they went around with some Vanguard people, and even the mayor threw some stuff in dumpsters, and it was good, and it's a good way to connect with the community, and I think we should try to do that and support that with different groups. It doesn't have to be all on the burden of Love Costa Mesa or Labors of Love in different neighborhoods. Every neighborhood would love to have something like that. Just kind of going down my list, as I think it was Councilmember Chavez mentioned, the police officers and the firefighters have had, since our last meeting, a lot of activity and have had some amazing outcomes. It was a terrible thing that in that same neighborhood where there was a cleanup, there was a stabbing. All the people that were involved in this, sadly, are juveniles. But the firefighters literally saved the life of the victim. And then within 48 hours, our police department had the suspects in custody, again, all juveniles. And I can't say enough about our first responders. And just over the last weekend, there were, especially on Saturday, there were 3 major incidents that they had to respond to. I don't know how they do it sometimes. They must be completely spread thin, and I think that they do rely on mutual aid, and we give mutual aid when necessary, but just thank you. I can't say enough. And in terms of like what Manuel Chavez, Councilmember Chavez said, I second that. Whatever we can do, as a council or as a community to work to bring, and in the budgetary process to bring more programs to the youth so that these things don't happen, that would be great. Because it's great to have the firefighters there and the police there when things happen. But whatever we can do, it doesn't always have to fall on the shoulders of our first responders to provide opportunities so these things don't happen would be great. And I want to collaborate on that. We mentioned Women's History Month, but one thing I would be remiss if I didn't mention is that our own Deputy Chief Joyce LaPointe is going to be awarded on March 14th at the Norma Herzog Center right here in the great city of Costa Mesa as the District 73 Woman of the Year for the city of Costa Mesa. I will be there, and I encourage everybody to be there to support our deputy chief, first deputy chief we've ever had, first woman deputy chief we've ever had, the highest ranking woman in the history of our Costa Mesa Police Department. She's something else, and she deserves every award she can possibly get. Moving down the list. Congratulations to our Costa Mesa TV and our media. They just got an A rating, which is the highest rating by the Voice of OC. And the Voice of OC, they can be tough cookies sometimes, but we have the most transparent, rated as the most transparent council meetings in Orange County, and that's really something to be very proud of. Yes, do it. Give it up for them. One thing that I think about the badge, I agree with that too. Let's look into that. The badges that Mr. Fitzpatrick mentioned, but also the first-time homebuyers program. I'd like to see that come back to the City Council. Let's develop a first-time homebuyers program. And I've got an answer for Mr. Fitzpatrick. I received this today from the staff. So from July 1st, 2023 to January 30th, 2024, we received in cannabis tax $1,103,689. In November of 2023 alone, we received $189,596. And in this fiscal year 23-24, we're projected to get just slightly under $2.3 million in cannabis tax. And some of that goes to art and some of it goes to a first-time home buyers program. And as much as we talk frequently on the council about providing housing opportunities, that's a good way to do it. So let's see if we can bring that back and get that money into the hands of people that can purchase houses and housing in the city of Costa Mesa. I've asked in the past for an e-bike ordinance. I'd like to see if that can come back. And then as to the street vendors, it starts with data. If we could get some type of a memo about how it's going and what is happening in terms of enforcement, then we would know and be able to react and make good, sound database decisions. Finally, we're going to adjourn in honor and memory of Glenn Stroud. Glenn Stroud was a Parks and Recreation supervisor for 20 years from 1981, and he retired in 2001. And he and his wife, Julie, who survives him, were very active in Santa Ana. He lived in Santa Ana, and he was very active there. I talked to Miguel Polito about Glenn Stroud today, and he said that he knew him and he appreciated all the work that he did after he retired in the city of Santa Ana. So rest in peace, Glenn Stroud. That's all I have, and now let's turn it over to the city manager, Lori Ann Farrell Harrison, for her report.
Thank you, Mayor. For the sake of time, I don't have anything this evening.
All right. For the sake of time, what do you have, City Attorney?
I just want to say, as a woman and a proud soccer mom, I thought every presentation tonight was amazing. And I'm still, to this day, extremely proud to be your first and only female city attorney.
All right. We're proud that you are, for sure. And so now we're going to go to the consent calendar. All matters under the consent calendar are to be considered to be routine and will be acted upon in one motion unless they're pulled by either the public or the staff or the city council. We have one item that's been pulled, and that's consent calendar item number 5. I also want to note a recusal of Councilmember Gameros on the consent calendar item number 3. With that, can I get a motion on the balance? Looks like we have Councilmember Chavez. Anybody want to second it? Mayor Pro Tem Harlan. Let's call for the question.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right, now we have number 5, which has been pulled by a member of the public. Is that right?
Yes, I'll read the title.
Okay.
Information Technology Department Category 6A Structured Cabling and Verkada Camera Installation with Next Experts.
Okay, excellent. So we have a member of the public that pulled it. Let's open up public comment and then, or do we have a presentation? You want to do a presentation first? No, we have no presentation. Let's open up for public comment.
I have 3 minutes, so I'll make it quick. My name is Edward Coleman. I'm with Exact Technology Solutions. We put in a bid for this Verkada camera system and Cat 6 installation. We felt we were the best choice. We were the lowest bid. However, this wasn't a lowest bid project. It was a scoring matrix. However, after we dug into it, after we found out that, our bid was $500,000, there was another bid, $600,000. The winning bid that they suggested to you guys today was $794,000. We had a problem with that, so we put in a protest to the city and said, wait a minute, our bid's $500,000. You're going to go with a bid you're going to pass up $600,000 if you don't go with us to go to $794,000. And then once we asked for a copy of the scoring matrix, they made us jump through hoops. We had to go through city, do a request to get it. It was a while, but we got it. The scoring matrix was flawed. I give you one example. We got the letter on December 15th that said, we're going to go with this company for $794,000. On January 12th, one of our references, and he said I could use his name, so I'll use his name. He's with the City of Hawaiian Gardens. He got a request from the city here on January 12th a request for, to see what kind of work we do. It's the City of Costa Mesa is currently running an RFP for Cat 6A, structured cabling, and Verkada camera. The vendor, Exact Technology, listed you as a reference. Can you please answer the below reference questions? That was dated on January 12th. We got the letter December 15th that they're going to go with somebody else, they've already scored us. We only scored a 2 on our references. So how can you reach out to our references in January, but then in December say that we scored a 2 out of 5? We have nothing but great references. We do this all the time. We have City of Hawaiian Gardens, City of Glendale, City of Costa Mesa, West Covina, the City of Azusa. We've done this exact same work for cities. So for them to gloss over a $500,000 bid and gloss over a $600,000 bid to jump to a $700,000 bid because they scored a 5 or a 4 or 3 on their references is incorrect. And even just last night when I found out that the city council meeting was today, Mr. Fuentes from the city said, well, the reason why we did it is because you only put down 3 of your lead cable technicians. And I said, well, did you read our bid? It says Ron Skinner, lead cable technician. Mr. Skinner leads a crew of 4. David Abramian, Mr. Abramian, lead cable technician. Mr. Abramian leads a crew of 4. So when we listed the 3 cable technicians, each one of those lead guys runs a crew of 4. So for them to say that, oh, you only listed 3 people.
Got it. Thank you. Do we have anybody else that wants to speak on this item?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, close public comment. So does any council member have a question? I have some questions, if we don't have questions. So I think we used to get scoring matrices in bidding. I haven't seen them in a while, but I will tell you that they don't like it when I tell them at OCTA what the city does, and probably the city's not going to like it when I say what OCTA does. But OCTA, just in a meeting yesterday, at a committee meeting, they have the scoring matrix and they share it with the directors in committee, and then they have it in the reports. And frequently they're consent calendar, but at least we have the scoring matrix. So, I mean, it exists, right? We have the scoring matrix. Somebody answer that question verbally? Does it exist? We have a scoring matrix?
Mr. Mayor? Yes. It was provided to the council as part of your late information. It's included with the protest documents.
Oh, it was with the protest documents?
Yes.
So that was today?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it at the last minute. It was on your desk. It's these documents.
Okay.
It was here when we arrived.
All right, give me a second. Does anybody else want to ask any questions while I look?
I do. Well, I'm going to make a comment.
Go ahead.
This document's 48 pages long. The protest document, God, it's 25 or 30 pages long. I got it when I walked in here, so I haven't reviewed anything here.
Mayor?
Yeah, no,
Well, hold on. Let's let Councilmember Harper has the floor right now.
do have a question of staff, because I experienced this before. I don't know, in our consent calendar, you've awarded someone through a bid process. We're up here to hold you accountable. I don't have enough data in this agenda report to ever make any decision other than the decision you make. So it makes me wonder why I'm sitting here, frankly. I mean to sound harsh, but this is a frustration I have had before. So the data we have, I don't know if you're right or wrong. I hear you though, sir, and I hear you, and I'm kind of expressing my opinion about this process. And who's in charge of this process? Are you, Carol?
Yes, the finance department, the purchasing division is in charge of this process.
Okay, well, answer this question for me. How would I, as a council member, given what I had in the agenda report, test or be confident in the selection that was made? Because I just don't feel like there's the data there for me to make any decision other than the decision you presented me with.
Councilmember Harper, I'd like to offer the following to Mayor and Council. And so this is an RFP that combines the expertise from finance, but it is also highly technical as well. And so I'd like to offer that we take back the information that we received this evening from the gentleman with the protest, work with the city attorney's office, and work closer with IT and finance to really go through this one more time and just make sure that we're all on the same page with the recommendation, if that's okay.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And a great solution.
Be happy to do that.
And I appreciate it.
So, so moved. Does anybody have any, we get a second from somebody?
Yeah, I'll second.
Councilmember Travis, any other comments?
No, first of all, I just want to, I want to say I do trust our staff, and I think the only thing we're discussing here is just the level of transparency we get in the staff reports. I also used to cover OCTA when I worked in the County of Orange, and that was something we did have the metrics for a lot of projects. And I think moving forward, that'll be something easy we can include, perhaps. But overall, I do trust staff recommendation, but I respect your desire to, double check again.
Sounds good.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, so I have a question more, I think, for our city attorney. So a protest has been lodged by a proposer. I just want to understand what their process and protest rights are. So if we basically have staff take a look at this again, do they get an opportunity to come back to us?
Yes, the protest gives them an opportunity to respond to you, or essentially to appeal the staff's response to their protest to you for final action. So you can override their protest, you can direct staff to, you can make a different choice than staff has recommended based upon your decision on that protest. But I think what the city manager has recommended is that we go and, sort of walk through this in more detail before we bring it back to you. And if we bring it back to you with whatever recommendation, the protester will still have an opportunity to speak to you at that time.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. You understand that? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Do you still have something? Yeah, okay, Councilmember Harper.
You made a motion. I guess, can I speak
Do you wish to speak to the
or-
motion?
Yeah, can I speak?
Yeah,
to it?
of course.
I
guess
don't-
I get to speak
You
to
wanna
the
talk
motion
first?
first. Yeah, because I made it. So I'm just flipping through. I don't think in the staff report there was any reference to the protest. And, consent calendar items are, as I say always, they're routine, and they're decided on a motion, one motion and so forth and so on. But I think when there's a protest, that should be in the staff report. And I do think when there's a protest, it should move to a new business item. So we have more discussion about it. And then, again, I do think that there's no reason that on all of these procurements where there is a scoring matrix, that shouldn't be provided as part of the consent calendar. I did mention OCTA. We deal with they are multi-million dollar projects. So I understand that, we have committees that go over them and so forth, and I'm not asking for that level of scrutiny necessarily. But I do think that, as the city manager pointed out as part of my motion, it got me to do the motion, is when there's a protest, I think we should have the council have more of an opportunity to look at it, more scrutiny and more information. Yeah, did you want to speak to the second? Okay.
Yeah.
Councilmember Harper.
I just want to say I love my mother, but I don't trust her to purchase a structured cable averted camera installation system. So with all due respect, I have a role up here, and I want to hold people accountable and look at what we're doing as a city. And it's a red flag for me when I hear references aren't checked or they're not checked timely. and that is not done properly. Tough job picking all the vendors you pick. I totally respect that in different areas, from this to cameras to motorcycles to whatever you pick. So I respect that, but I'd like to do what I'm supposed to do up here and oversee and test things. So that's all. Thank you.
Director Ely, did you have something you wanted to say? Okay, good. Okay, then let's call for the question.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right. With that, then I don't think we have any other business, and so we will adjourn in memory and honor of Glenn Stroud.